What happens when we are no longer alone?
Not if, but when. A signal arrives, a message of undeniable structure, or perhaps something even more astonishing. It could be a sudden sharp alert echoing through the quiet hum of a control room, the words "signal received" flickering across a screen. Or it might be a whisper from the darkness, a subtle pattern embedded in the relentless static of the cosmos. The moment is electric, filled with both anticipation and trepidation. Across the globe, humanity holds its breath. This is not a question of imagination, but inevitability. With every year, our instruments grow more sensitive. Our eyes probe farther into the mysteries of the universe. We search, we listen, and we wait. But are we truly ready for what comes next? Today, we confront the most profound event in human history: first contact. Imagine, for a moment, the world as it is now, busy, distracted, endlessly scrolling. Then, one ordinary day, a team at the SETI Institute picks up an anomaly. At first, it's just data, numbers on a screen, a blip among billions. But as they analyze it, something extraordinary emerges. Pulses, repeating in a sequence of prime numbers. There is a rhythm, a structure. This is not the random chatter of a pulsar or the interference of a distant quasar. It is a mathematical fingerprint, unmistakably artificial. The news cannot be contained. Within hours, word leaks. Social media platforms ignite. Headlines flash across every device. We are not alone. Panic and awe ripple through the world. Some react with fear, others with wild hope. Governments convene emergency meetings. Scientists, blinking through the haze of adrenaline and disbelief, scramble to verify. They check for errors. They scour the airwaves for Earth-based interference, for the telltale signs of a hoax, but the message holds. It endures every scrutiny. Confirmation arrives like a tidal wave. The United Nations calls an emergency session. Space agencies across the globe dust off their contingency protocols. Plans that once seemed theoretical now thrust into urgent reality. The world's religions, leaders, and thinkers gather to debate, to pray, to speculate. And in that moment, a new epoch dawns. Humanity is no longer alone. It is important to recognize that first contact may not come in the form of a gleaming spacecraft descending through the clouds. More likely, it could be a mathematical whisper. A code riding the invisible waves of radio. A tap on the cosmic shoulder from light years away. It is subtle, but unmistakable. In that instant, everything changes. Not just for scientists, but for every human being. How would we respond? The first protocols, guidelines developed by SETI and international organizations, urge caution and collaboration. They begin with the fundamentals: verify, verify, verify. Science must lead, not hysteria. The world is urged to stay calm, to avoid rash conclusions. But beneath the surface, deeper dilemmas churn. Should we reply immediately? Or should we watch and listen, cautious not to reveal too much? Who has the right to speak for Earth? Is it a matter for the United Nations, representing the patchwork of human nations? Should a council of scientists, with their devotion to reason and evidence, take the lead? Or does this moment demand a new, democratic voice, a global forum born of this unprecedented encounter? The decision is not merely scientific. It is philosophical, ethical, and political. Every message we send could reveal our strengths, but also our vulnerabilities. Do we tell them our location, our capabilities? Do we risk inviting harm, or do we trust in the possibility of friendship? Some argue we should remain silent, hiding in the vastness of space. Others insist that curiosity is our truest calling, that reaching out is what makes us human. This is a test not only of our intellect, but of our character. The eyes of history, perhaps the universe itself, are upon us. But what of the other? What might they be like? The possibilities are as boundless as the stars themselves. Perhaps they are biological, like us. Born of evolution, with senses and desires we might, with effort, understand. Or perhaps they are machines, intelligence woven from circuits and code, having transcended their biological origins eons ago. Consider civilizations millions of years older than humanity. In such time spans, even the most advanced cultures could become unrecognizable. They might be post-biological, their minds spread across networks of artificial intelligence, their thoughts as alien to us as ours would be to an ant. They may experience time differently, moving at the pace of glaciers, or as swiftly as a quantum computation. Their means of communication could be beyond our wildest imaginings. Gravitational waves, quantum entanglement, signals encoded in the very fabric of space-time. The Kardashev scale offers one way to imagine their advancement. A Type 1 civilization harnesses the energy of its entire planet. Type 2 masters the energy of its star, perhaps building vast structures like Dyson spheres to capture every photon. Type 3? Such a civilization commands the energy of an entire galaxy. To us, they would seem like gods. The gap between us and them may be as vast as the gulf between an ant colony and the astronauts who walk the moon. We may struggle to comprehend their motives, their desires, even their methods of thought. Yet even in that gap there may be bridges, shared curiosities, common questions, the universal language of mathematics and physics. But what if contact is not just a signal, but a visitation? Imagine the world's reaction if, one day, a craft, clearly artificial, unmistakably alien, enters our solar system. Telescopes pivot, governments scramble, military organizations put forces on alert. The media, ever hungry for spectacle, descends into a frenzy. Civilians watch with awe and terror. Would they land? Would they remain in orbit, observing? Would they communicate, or simply watch in silence? The analogies from our own history are sobering. When cultures with unequal technology meet, the results are often disastrous for the less advanced. The arrival of Columbus in the New World changed the course of history, but not always for the better. The lessons are clear. Even peaceful contact can be destabilizing, upending cultures, beliefs, and economies. Questions multiply. Are they peaceful? Do they understand us? Do they care? The mere knowledge that we are not alone could be enough to shake the world, to unsettle the certainties that have guided us for millennia. Yet the greatest impact may not be material, but psychological and cultural. For many, the discovery of other intelligent life would be a challenge to faith, a test, or perhaps an affirmation. Some religious traditions might embrace the idea of cosmic brothers and sisters, seeing in them a reflection of divine creativity. Others may recoil, viewing them as a threat or as a sign of impending judgment. Philosophically, humanity's uniqueness would end. No longer the center of creation, we would be one among many. This could foster a new humility, or spark a new unity, as the divisions of nation, race, and creed pale before the immensity of the cosmos. Art, science, and politics would be transformed. A Copernican-level revolution in thought would sweep the world, shifting us from an Earth-centered perspective to a galaxy-aware civilization. The possibilities are endless. Some might respond with fear, retreating into isolation. Others would be inspired, reaching out with renewed curiosity and hope. The impact would ripple through every aspect of life, from the smallest village to the corridors of power. There are, of course, many scenarios for first contact. The most likely is indirect, a signal, verified but distant, carrying a message that may take decades or centuries to decipher, let alone reply to. In this scenario, the conversation would unfold across the ages, a slow exchange of ideas and information. Another possibility is the discovery of an artifact, an alien probe or structure within our solar system. Something like Oumuamua, the mysterious interstellar object that passed through our neighborhood in 2017, but unmistakably artificial. Such a find would be immediate and undeniable, raising questions about its purpose and origin. Then there is the prospect of direct contact, a face-to-face encounter. This would be the most dramatic, and perhaps the most unsettling. It would raise immediate existential questions. What do they want? What do we have to offer? How does one communicate with a mind shaped by entirely different evolutionary and cultural pressures? And finally, there is the scenario in which we find life not as intelligence, but as microbes or fossils, on Mars, Europa, or some distant exoplanet. Even the discovery of simple life would shatter the illusion of Earth's exclusivity, forcing us to reconsider our place in the universe. In each of these scenarios, the key insight is the same. First contact is not a singular event, but a spectrum. It can be a whisper, a relic, a meeting, or a revelation. Not all involve flying saucers or grand encounters, but each has the power to reshape our world. Across the centuries, we have sent our voices to the stars. We have beamed messages, launched probes, inscribed golden records with our music and hopes. Perhaps one day someone will answer. Perhaps they already have, in ways we have yet to recognize. But one thing is certain. When we meet the other, we will discover something just as important. Who we are. In the mirror of the alien, we may see ourselves with new clarity, our strengths and flaws laid bare. The ultimate frontier is not the stars, but the understanding we gain in reaching them. Tomorrow we continue with an even deeper question. What is consciousness? Could the universe itself be alive? These are the mysteries that await us, as we stand on the threshold of a new era. For now, the Earth turns slowly in the darkness, a pale blue dot circling an ordinary star. Somewhere, a beam of light stretches out into the cosmos, carrying our message, our question, into the unknown. The echoes of that signal may linger for centuries, awaiting a reply. And so we wait, we wonder, and we hope. First contact is more than a meeting with the other. It is a journey into the cosmos, into the heart of what it means to be human, and into a future we can scarcely imagine. In the end, perhaps the greatest discovery will not be what lies out there, but what lies within us.